Alright, let's just get this one over with again. That's right, after Aria of Sorrow, I just went to stream, asked, hey, what game you want to see next? Singled out a single person, and they said Hollow Knight. So, we're doing Hollow Knight again. And you know what? There, that at least makes it kind of interesting at the very start here. Why not? No, and I'm not going to redo Steel Soul mode. That's too much. Look, it's the whole thing where I like the idea of putting it on one person to choose what the next potentially very long series is going to be. But sometimes people just choose Hollow Knight. They just choose Hollow Knight. What can I say? I already played this game for 250 hours. I played through it several times before I even started the channel, and then played through it a couple times on the channel. So it's like, if you want to see a playthrough of Hollow Knight, this is not the one. If you want to see me suffer because I have very questionable ways that I choose what games I'm going to be playing on the channel, this is the one you want to see. I'm so sick of this game. In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to make a bold proclamation right now. I'm going to be adding a second game to the banned game list of things that you can recommend. So far, right now, the only one that's on the list, Wizard of Legend. I will never play Wizard of Legend on the channel, ever. And now we got a second one, unheard of. And that song is Silk Song. That's right. It's not going to be Hollow Knight. I'm never going to play Silk Song because after this, no. No. And if you make me play Hollow Knight again, well, I'll play Hollow Knight again. Whatever. I don't care. Oh, man, I am just so sick of this game. But hey, here's the thing. After playing through it so many times, I mean, it's only going to take me like, what, 3 hours to get it done, so just gotta really, really let it go. Unlike the last time that I played this game, I don't think I'm gonna go for like the single playthrough. So this, I mean, you're probably gonna know this already. It's gonna say like part 1 or whatever, but that's basically, yeah, I'll probably split it up into 2 parts just because I'm already recording this at midnight, so, you know, yeah. But the other thing would be that it's just like, man, I just don't think I got it in me to try to just literally spend 3 hours playing through this game yet again. And yeah, this is just going to be a standard to the Hollow Knight ending. I might even do like a little bit of off-screen grinding just to get like an upgrade for the nail, just because I want to make this as fast as possible so I can get on to some new games. Here's the thing. You know, when you think about like playing games here, and especially like having a channel like this, there is a question that is obviously going to come to mind. Basically, why are you actually doing this? Like, what's the point? And you know, I think it's probably the same thing for most people. I would assume, where it's just like you just want to make something that's entertaining. I mean, I know when I started out this channel, the idea was that I had watched a whole ton of LPs, like all the way back since, God, I want to say like 2008 or so, you know, during the era of like text LPs and just stuff being recorded with unregistered Hypercam 2. Oh, I remember that era. Bandicam. People complaining about fraps. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. But the point was that it's just like, hey, I loved watching a lot of gameplay videos, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to try to give back. That whole deal. And, you know, doing that, it's just like, how are you going to do it? Well, the idea was that I want to try to show the game in the most complete way possible, but also not just be like highlights of the game or something like that. Really try to make it so it's comprehensive, but also edited down so it's not just boring, getting used to the game, like trying to figure out how the thing actually, how like mechanics work. You know, not doing things blind. I mean, I always said like bridging the gap between trying to do like speed runs and then like a full playthrough of the game. Like, hey, even if that requires a hefty amount of editing. And of course, I started out with Dead Cells because I think Dead Cells is just, I mean, that's a game that I remember back in 2017 when it originally came out alongside Hollow Knight, of course, which is why the comparison gets made between the game a lot, even though I would like to say that it's like comparing the two is like, hey guys, should I play Doom or Stardew Valley? It's like, okay, maybe not that extreme, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, you know, really trying to get into that game, really showing a lot of the like mechanics of the game. They always said the game was supposed to be like Dark Souls, and I thought it's just like, you know, hey, you look at a lot of people that play a single game on their channel, whether it's some sort of shooter or whether it's some sort of like some sort of shooter, or like your Binding of Isaacs, of course, has been very popular for many a years for many a people. It's just like, I saw Dead Cells and I'm like, I don't know, maybe there's something here. And by God, did Motion Twin really make good on that? I mean, to this day, it's like, boy, there are so many games out there. There are so many cool ones that, you know, could have been like potentially, hey, let's just do a huge series. Try to make myself known for this single game. Dead Cells was such a good choice, even to this day. Hollow Knight is not his sort of game. Look, I like Hollow Knight. This is a fun game, and it's pretty great. But, you know, looking at, like, the two games, Dead Cells and Hollow Knight, I gotta be real with you. One has way more replayability than the other. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy a lot of what Hollow Knight has to offer. But God, replaying through this game for the third time now, and it's just the third time on the channel. It's like, oh, you're killing me. You're killing me here. I cannot believe that you're making me do this. I should probably go rescue Sly. Well, anyway, the other thing that is just like the first playthrough that I did of this game was, I'm not gonna say it was like the best playthrough or anything. I think I'm still like not super amazing when it came to even like trying to figure out what I want to do with commentary. Even now, I don't know if I can really say that I would do justice to the game. But you know what? It was basically like a 100% playthrough, and I'm like more or less satisfied with how that turned out. I didn't get like literally 100%. There's so many like little alternate dialogue things when it came to, say like getting all of the various map stuff that you could get from Cornifer, for example. There's different dialogues that you get for if you buy it from him in the field and if you buy it from him in the shop. But you know what? I played through the entire thing. I even played through like 90% of Godmaster. I didn't do like all the Radiant modes and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. So it's like the whole idea of replaying through this game again, which is what this series is going to be called. It's like, man, a lot of this is me just venting that you're making me play this game again. But I'm a man of my word. My word is my bond. If I say, hey man, give me a game I'm gonna play through, then by God, Stone Cold Stunner, I'm gonna play through this game. This does not mean, I didn't get any stipulations on what I need to talk about. I just be like, hey guys, right now I'm playing as the Vessel. The Vessel was created by the Pale King as a way to contain the Radiance, which is the god of the moths in the game. There you go. That's a big old spoiler for like super endgame stuff. Who cares? This is the third time I'm playing through this game. Talk about whatever. Go complain about Persona 5 some more. Why not? That's the sort of thing. Look, here's the thing. Most people already clicked off the video. Who cares? We just do whatever. I don't care about this guy. It's an easy fight anyway, and it's just like, ultimately, this is all just about, like, I'm gonna put complaining. You know what? I'm not even, I was gonna say that I was gonna call this Hollow Knight again. This is gonna be complaining through Hollow Knight, part 1. That's what you're gonna get. Anyway, straight up, I'm not like a huge fan of Metroid-style games. I even said this when I just played through Aria of Sorrow right now, where it's like, look, even though I did do, let's just say near 100%, I didn't do like boss rush. I didn't do Julius mode, but I'm still pretty satisfied with how that game turned out. I think that I covered pretty much everything in the way that I wanted to, even though you could also call that series, perhaps, maybe not complaining through Aria of Sorrow, but certainly talking about translation differences, localizing through Aria of Sorrow. Let's just call it that. It's like, there were still parts in that game. Certainly some of the grinding was just... But I'm a self-professed person who likes grinding. What can I say? That's a game where it's like, even when the grinding's bad, and the grinding was pretty bad, I'm looking at you, Skyfish, I still had a good time with it. I mean, I still had a lot of fun. But I'm gonna be real with you. Some of the bits where it's like, hey, let's go just backtrack through the underwater caverns for the umpteenth time was like, that's when I was like, boy, really rethinking how much I wanted to play through this game. Still a lot of fun though. And certainly with like the RPG aspects, I think that, I don't know, here's the thing. I'm like a confusingly, there's a two-faced sort of argument when it comes to playing through like a game with RPG aspects. Sure, you like that dopamine hit when you get an extra level? I do like that dopamine hit when I get an extra level in that game. However, it's like, God, it's so hard to like properly balance a game when it includes RPG aspects to it. I guess I can give Hollow Knight props for that. There's nothing really to RPG around in this game, which is a very common thing when it comes to, recreating the sort of Metroid style. But backtracking, oh boy, let's get backtracking in spades, baby. This game has a big map, and I mean, to its credit, it's a big map, and it's got a lot of secrets in it, and hey, there's a lot of stuff to go around, explore, find. I think like one of the big parts of the appeal of the game is kind of sussing out the story. People call it like Dark Souls style, and I wouldn't disagree. I do think very much so that it has that sort of like a indirect storytelling, which I like. I like me a good game I can speculate about and everything, but God, the amount of backtracking and everything was just so... Like it is. By the way, I am playing this live. This is not like a post-commentary. I do want to make that absolutely clear. Even though, like I said, complaining through basically means that I am going to be, ignoring most of what happens on screen like 90% of the time. Whatever. Go watch the other series if you want like a real in-depth look at what I think of Hollow Knight and its mechanics. This is not the one. This is the one where I talk about like, hey, you remember Ermac in you remember Ermac in Mortal Kombat? What a weird thing that was. That's a character based on a false rumor about the game. I mean, here's the thing. There are a lot of like actual rumors. For example, what was it? The lizard, I think it was, which is yet another one of the recolored ninja guys, of course, in the game itself. But it's like Ermac was another one of those based on a fake rumor about like an error macro which never actually existed. What a weird... I mean, I gotta say this. It's definitely something very much in line with what they would do in the development of a lot of things in your Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat has always been a kind of weird series for me. Oh no, I know it. I've actually done this whole shtick before. Damn it! I'm like, this is not like a best of for commentary. Yeah. All of my talk about my opinions on Mortal Kombat is a best of reel, right? No. That was something that I did when I did the grappling hook run for Dead Cells. I mean, that's the whole thing where it's just like, here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that I can talk about with Dead Cells, but eventually you are going to have to kind of stray off the beaten path. It's not something that I really want to do when it comes to like completely ignoring gameplay in any sort of playthrough. I really do want to stick to like what's actually happening on screen, straight up. I think that, look, I do like me a good digression. I think everybody likes a good digression. They're fun. when we're talking about your classic sort of LPs, some of the most fun stuff you get is out of doing like straight up digressions. However, I do think that when you're like playing a game, you really should try to, you know, like your number one thing should be talk about the game. You know what's on screen? Chat about that, my dude. Tell me about like bad experiences you've had on airplanes. But I mean, like, I've played Dead Cells for 100 hours? No, way more than that. It's like you're gonna have to come up with something a little bit more original when you're talking about that sort of deal, and that's just kind of what a lot of that series has turned into, for better or for worse. I don't know. I mean, I certainly still there's a lot of updates, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Trying to like suss out things to speak about when it comes to a single weapon still can get a lot of mileage out of there. But each one of those runs is over an hour, and that does mean that you basically do have to kind of like come up with something different, you know? I mean, that's just kind of how it be. Because you're not going to be able to keep the hundreds of hours. With like Aria of Sorrow, there's certainly plenty of things to talk about, and even though the translation stuff might have only been tangentially related, it's still very much... During that one episode, part 3, when I was talking a lot about translation stuff, they gave me a lot of fuel to put on that fire, my dude. So, old rocks. Jump in lit air? Come on. You can't say that was, like, entirely tangential. Nah, well. I mean, the big difference, of course, comes in with something like Hollow Knight, which this game does not change every single time. You don't get different weapons to talk about or anything. It really does have to become, like, super tangential over time, and it's like, it's not even something that I want to do. Well, I didn't want to play this at all, but again, word is bond, etc. I gotta do it. I gotta do it, man. Look, that's just what this is. I'm not fighting any more of the Moss soldiers. They have names. I don't care. Instead, we gotta go fight Hornet. Again, Silksong straight up is canceled now. I do want to make that clear, by the way. I'm mad that I have to do this. And I'm mad that I have to do this. No, that's it. 250 hours, and we're sitting here talking about like what I think of her, or what are my theories on like making good video stuff. Who cares? Yeah, whatever. I don't even remember what this is. It's a Wanderer's Journal. What do I guess it's gonna be good for geo grinding if I am gonna have to get some of the. You know what? I don't even care. I started talking about the game and I've already lost interest in what I'm talking about. That's a level of commentary that we've gotten at right now. I mean, I don't know. Certainly one of the things with Dead Cells is that as it has become harder to do, like, hey, what's stuff to talk about, as I've covered so many different topics over the course of that, it's like, I have tried to, like, start planning out some of the episodes a little bit more. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. I think that's making it a little bit more interesting. It's also making it sound like the episodes are, you know, scripted or something a lot more. Is that terrible, though? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Like, I don't think it's good to, like, literally script out, mostly because it's just going to take way too much time to do that. Like, I can't script stuff to save my life. A lot of this does have to be, totally, get off the cuff, stream of consciousness type of thing. Full on, Virginia Woolf style. But it's just like, I don't know. I think like pre-planning, doing pre-pro, potentially can make for a better episode. It's one of those things where it's just like, of course I also do feel, I've said many a times, like literal anxiety disorder. So it's like, this sort of thing is something that I think about a lot. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is it somewhere in between the two? I guess, you know, that's also one of those things where it's just like, even if I do think that I make a good episode of something, ultimately it does come down to, well, it's not really up to me to decide now, is it? That's why, maybe more than a lot of people, I am very obsessive about, like, reading comments and making sure that I respond to all that stuff, too. It's one of those things that's just like, it's a personal neuroses, and that's just what you do. I'd like to think that it makes for a better type of video when I'm doing it. I don't know. I mean, does it matter? It's not really the sort of time when it's like I guess is basically letting it all hang out like a brick house. So just throwing those questions out there. I mean, it's not like this is, I know definitely I'm not the only person that's like thinking about this sort of stuff. I think back to a playthrough of Shenmue 2, where basically the guy, as he was playing through it, was there's a part near the end of the game where where Ryo is walking around with Shenhua, and they're having just the most mundane, uninteresting conversation. And up on screen, the guy was kind of like talking about, I don't know, is this even worth putting in the video? I don't find this interesting content, but it is content. So I gotta put it on screen. And I mean, I looked at that and I'm just like, yeah, man, it's content, right? Like, it's gotta be you gotta put the content, even if you don't like it. You're still gonna, I too think that's an important thing. Like, if you're trying to make a video, and especially if you're trying to make a video that's not just like pure entertainment or whatever, like, legitimately, you do want to try to put everything on screen that you possibly can, even if it's something that you know is going to take way too long to do. Something that is not even all that interesting. Like, straight up something that you're like, I don't know, I didn't even think that this was, like, a good part of the game. I think about, like, Persona 5. You know, I said, hey, I'm going to complain about it. Well, here we are. That it's like, hey, there's a lot of bits in Persona 5 that straight up I don't like. I don't find interesting, and I think, like, the game would be better without. Still putting it in anyway. Like, who am I to say it's like, no, this does not deserve to be in the video? I wanted to cover this game, and I wanted people to, like, enjoy the video. If I'm making a video on this game, who am I to say that this should be cut out? Only if it's something that is literally, like, it just copy-pasted content from before, you know, backtracking or whatever like that. It's like, that's the sort of thing that you'd think should be cut out, right? That's the sort of thing that should be cut out. There are certainly also stuff like side quests or side content that it's like, if I really am just, like, I don't know, it takes way too long to do. Grinding, I think, is that, sure, it might be part of the game, but it's like, I think that you can safely and, you know, without compromising, is that the word you want to use? I think it sounds a lot more artful than this sort of thing is. At the end of the day, you're playing a video game, my dude. I don't know, but at the same time, it's like, I still want to do as best I can when it comes to playing this sort of thing, which is why there's already a series for this, and I don't really care about talking about that right now. Yeah, I don't know. I also think back to, like, Celeste. Celeste is a game that, straight up, part of the way you play that... No, this is Elder Who. Part of the way you play that game does include repeating the same content many times. Wait, is that actually where I want to go? I think it is. Yeah, no, they still got the sign. Yeah, part of the way that you're supposed to play that game is that it is supposed to have parts where you straight up, like, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be exhausted by the end of the game. There are parts that it's just like they're supposed to be difficult and that you're supposed to see over and over because that's literally part of the game as it exists. It was the same sort of thing with, like, Bennett Foddy talking about getting over it, for example, where the struggle was part of the experience. But should the struggle be part of the experience when you're making a video? I tried to include that, but to be honest, in retrospect, I do think that it would have been a better series if I cut it down a little bit more. But do you want to cut it down too much? Then does it just become incomprehensible? I don't know. That's, I mean, certainly nobody's complaining about that series, but also nobody's watching that series because it's not Dead Cells. So, what are you going to do? But then again, I mean, you know, hey, even if I'm trying to make stuff for other people, it's like it does also come down to, like, what do I want to do? Is that idea. I've also seen people talk about this before of, like, you want, oh, man. Of, like, you know, people are going to say, hey, whatever you think is going to be the most interesting content is the sort of thing that we want to watch and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know, that's Bretta. I'm not going to worry too much about that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. In a lot of ways, like when I'm playing a game, and especially a game that I want to play for the channel, obviously, it's like I'm thinking more like, what are people going to be interested in watching? What's going to be a fun piece of content for the channel, which is why I like leaving, like, hey, what should actually be on the channel, not for what do I want to put on the channel versus, like, what do other people want to see on the channel. That's why I like suggestions. That's why I like recommendations. I mean, it's not always something that I'm going to want to play. For example, doing a bunch of roguelites, for example. Sure, Dead Cells is a game that I like a lot. It's also a game that takes a real long time to learn how to play. Same with, say, One Step from Eden that was on the channel. Same with Enter the Gungeon, which has been on the channel. It's a lot of stuff that's like, hey, as much as I do like this game, boy, it takes so long to learn. And to be honest, I like having a really huge, like, melange of games, which is why I don't want it to all just be like, hey, what's the newest roguelite that's out that I want to go play right now? I want it to be like a bunch of weird stuff. A bunch of weird, off-the-cuff, strange sort of games out there, which is why I was super interested, like, when we got Doom suggested, when it got, stuff like, I don't know, yeah. Aria of Sorrow. Aria of Sorrow is, like, certainly within the stuff that I want to play on that I have played on the channel. Dead Cells obviously being super, super well inspired by that game. But also, you know, hey, it's one that is, like, it's older. It's not going to be something that our people are going to be, like, as into comparatively. Yeah, I hit that. I guess it was something over here, and I don't really remember. It's not going to be something that people were as interested in, but it certainly has a big part to play in the history of, like, Dead Cells as it exists. I mean, look, here's the thing, too. It's like, if I really want to just play something that people are going to be interested in, period, let's play more Dead Cells. The problem, though, is that, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting more and more neurotic about that series as it goes on, because I'm finding it harder and harder to, like, really talk about a lot. And it just kind of comes down to, I know that it's like, if I really just force myself to play the game over and over, that I kind of feel bad about it, because, like, straight up, I feel like it's not a game. Like, the videos become something that I feel like I'm not doing as good of a job on. Whereas, like, if a game is fresh, there's still a lot of stuff to talk about, and it feels like it's easier to do. Whereas Dead Cells, I know that people are still down with it, and I know that people are still interested, and I still want to do it. Because if nothing else, people like the videos, right? It's like, that's what I want to do. But at the same time, it's also something where, I don't know. I just feel like I'm finding it harder and harder to put out a good Dead Cells video. Look, if I could just, like, put a video out every single day and people would love it, that'd be great. But I just also feel like I don't know, I can't do that because the videos wouldn't be very good then, you know? But then you also got stuff like this, which people are going to hate. So, yeah. I don't know. What sort of content, what sort of madman is creating content like this? To be honest, I find this whole concept very, very funny. that we're putting out complaining through Hollow Knight again. I want this to be the most viewed video on the entire channel. I want to look into the void, and I want to become the void, as somebody said on the stream when when they saw that I was going to be playing this yet again. I want this video to be the void. There's something, I don't know, there's something just inherently stupid about this video existing that I love. Maybe it's some sort of masochistic streak in me. Maybe it's the way that, you know, people are straight up like, people are going to look at this and they're going to be like, why are you torturing yourself? And I'm going to look at them and I'm going to be like, isn't it just inherently funny that this exists? That's the sort of, it's like, it's ridiculous and it's terrible and I love it. I love how stupid this is. I hate doing this. Don't get it twisted, baby. I hate that I gotta play Hollow Knight again, but at the same time, I love that I have to play Hollow Knight again. It's awful, it's the worst, and I love it. I want to say that it's like this sort of, who would do this? This has gotta, I don't know. Maybe this is just my own, maybe this is just my own weird view on what content should be and what content shouldn't be. But just the way that it's Hollow Knight again. There's something about that it's just like, I hate it and I love it. I hate it and I love it. And I'd like to say that the point in which I have garnered any sort of audience is they're gonna be like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I want to see. This is the content that I crave. This is the content that I signed up for. When you posted complaining through Hollow Knight, I said, this is your magnum opus. This is what I want to see. I'm going to make you play Hollow Knight so many more times after this. Or maybe this is just going to be painful. It's going to be the worst thing I've ever put out. Either way, I don't know. Like, what are you going to do? What can you do? As City of Tears, you just got to go up to the soul area, right? Right? I legitimately don't remember. I know that you can go see the Hollow Knight statue and whatever, who cares, but like also I think the only thing you need to do is go up here though, right? I'm gonna also have to unlock Sly and everything too, and his family stone, but I'm talking too much about the game again. Let's just continue on here. Certainly grinding is a part of a lot of games. And I do like grinding as a part of games. Should I include that in the video? I don't know. I mean, it is undeniable that it's literally, especially like a game like Seek to Grind Ya, which I've played all of at this point, and like 100%ed. Aside from the math cave, which, you know, fun stuff. I should do... that's what I should do for the next game. Speaking of math stuff, I should do another puzzle game. I've got Heaven's Vault that's been on my Steam list for a very long time now. You know, something that would like literally be I guess you could call it a companion series to doing the Persona 5 in the way that it would be language learning. But to be honest, I don't know if that game's going to be all that challenging considering how much time I've already committed to that sort of concept in my actual life right now. So, would it be good? I do like a good puzzle game. Stuff like Baba Is You, The Witness might not be like the best regarded of series. But by God, I do love that sort of style of gameplay and like actually figuring it out. And then of course like presenting it as a series. Because I do think that it's gotta be really difficult to find another series like that online, right? I do like the old idea of doing a bunch of weird, obscure games too. The problem with that is that people aren't that interested in doing weird, obscure games. Just like... And I do, you know, like I said before, it all kind of comes back to, I really do want to do the stuff that people are going to be entertained watching. I mean, the entire start of the channel has been, hey, I've consumed so much of this content myself. I want to give back content, just in the only way I can. I played a lot of video games. Surely I have something to say about them, right? Big question mark? I don't know. I'd like to think so, but I'm also very unsure of myself. Have you been listening to this episode? Have you been listening to one-man podcast talking about uncertainty and how it rules my life? Yeah, there's a grubbo. Can't even say. Look, man, we're kind of like just staring at the void, becoming the void. This entire episode has been becoming the void. And that's what it's going to continue to be, I'd say. There's no reason why... Oh, boy. Oh, void. It's like in some ways, just think of this as like literally I am the Hollow Knight. Well, I'm the vessel. I'm not the Hollow Knight. You know. Ah. Let's try not to die. Ah! I hate it. I suppose that like the point that I should be trying to achieve at this point in the game, I guess, would be, I don't know, seals, getting the dream nail. Yeah. I guess that would probably be the first, existential crisising your way through Hollow Knight. What should this series even be called at this point? I should just, like, put it 3 question marks. And that's going to be the episode title. And people are going to listen, and the people are going to watch it, and they're going to be like, what? What is this even? That sort of surreality better or worse than calling it anything else? I don't know. I like the idea, but I can't really say that it's like it's a good idea or a bad idea. Can't really say that it's anything. I mean, I feel like this entire episode so far has just been, is this anything? Could it be anything? Who knows? No, that's just that area again. I think that leads to the rich part of town. Whatever. But really, I mean, it's all just about, like, hey, playing through Hollow Knight again. I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? It's Hollow Knight again. Yeah. There we are. Yeah, it's annoying that you gotta go through this entire area, but I think it's to open up a shortcut. You know what what the rest of the series should just be is complete silence. Now, I would not literally do that because I straight up don't think that's entertaining. I think it's like I'm talking about at least trying to create some sort of video that might have some kind of worth to it. And I think an uncommented playthrough of Hollow Knight is not that. So, no. I can't. I like literally, I can't in good conscience do that. It would weigh on my conscience to do that. Now, there's a penis lights. I think I mentioned that in the first playthrough that I did of the game, or maybe it was the second. They're all running together now. They're all the same thing. They're all the same, and they're not the same. The vessel's just leading his way through the void. This is what he became at the end of the... You know, as he became like the god of the void at the very end there, it's just like this is what he's seeing in his mind. All possibilities of what the series of Hollow Knight could be. What it is, what it isn't. What it's been, what it could be. And all of them, you know, you combine them together and it's nothing. As it turns out, none of this was anything. No, that's not even where I want to go. Well, anyway, these mistakes are... I hate this section. I also don't really like the boss either. You know, like big projectile-focused enemies. I mean, I guess the idea would be that you're supposed to be fighting them with magic, fight magic with magic and all that, but... Wow. Teleport up here. Oh, okay. And I died again. But also at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, this is the point in time where I probably would be cutting around doing stuff. Because again, this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, this is content you've seen before. And this is, yeah, it's uninteresting. It was boring stuff, but, you know, like, what are you going to do? This is the third time I'm playing through the game on the channel. It's like, this is not really the point where I'm like, isn't it the point? How much have I talked about that I want to try to do the best thing that I possibly can? And now's the point where you draw the line? Me? I guess I guess so, and I guess so's it. Why is this guy appearing here? I guess it's kind of near where I died, but in there. I only get one magic ability right now. I mean, that is still something that I always kind of find. It's like I don't want to complain because straight up it does make the game easier to be able to just heal on the fly at any point in time, and having some charms that really do facilitate doing exactly that. But at the same time, it is also one of those things that it's like, I don't know. It's also like, I do think it does kind of mess with the game's difficulty, but then you got like, there. But then you also got like stuff like the way the game is very challenging that, you know, messes with that. These are some all very trenchant insights on the design of the game, aren't they? I've never said that I was any good at that. Just here to show you gameplay, baby. I get, except I'm not. That's not what this is about. What is this about? I don't have to prove anything. You've already seen this game before, but at the same time, it's like, it is what it is. I guess it's you know, coming down to it, everything that I said before about, like, I don't know, I think it's very funny to play through this game a third time. Even though it's like, you know, as you get farther in here, is it? As you started up this video, you thought, is it? And it's not? But isn't it, though? I don't know. I still like the idea. There we are. Well, I'll say this. You know, I said before, it's like one of the things with God Masters, the idea that, you know, a lot of these bosses, it's like they just become so ultra trivial by the time that you, of course, like fight them a million times and you know exactly what all their patterns are. You literally do master gods. I don't think it was worth it as a DLC, but for that sake of the sweet, sweet content, baby, you gotta do it. Now I'm just getting like sloppy because I'm like, it's not done yet. Was I supposed to have like gotten the nail upgrade as of now? It would like literally double my damage, I suppose. There we go. I don't think it's too expensive. I could probably go do it. I mean, it's probably going to be some off-screen type of deals wherein I look at what's the most I can do to make this as easy as possible without actually like 100% playing through the game. Like, what's the point where it becomes easier, but not the point where I have to actually do too much to make it easier? No, that's it. I've ran out of things to say. Oh, yeah, you just jump up right here. Whatever. You know what, right now, I'm just going to stop talking for a while. I always hate this section, by the way. Was that it? I don't actually remember. I think there might have been a third. Yeah, there was. Okay.